And Ride1Up generally likes to throw in a few surprises. They threw in a couple on this bike. Yikes. I think this motor is plenty powerful. That's how easy it is to hit the max wattage of just shy of 1400 watts. Though we'll see how it does on hills. Ride1Up always nails it with the tools. Ever since Ride1Up started phasing out some of their older models and then released the Vorsa, I've been wondering if they were going to expand the lineup. Don't get me wrong, the Vorsa is a great do-everything e-bike, but it left room for something a little bit leaner. Enter the Vorsa Lite, a more affordable, trimmed-down addition to the Vorsa lineup that still claims some pretty impressive motor specs. Welcome back to E-Bike Escape. My name is Ryan. In this review, I'll walk you through everything you need to know. Then we'll take it for a ride. First impressions of this motor is it's pretty punchy, but we'll see. And finally, I'll wrap things up with a conclusion so you can make an informed purchase decision. But first, let's take a closer look. Sometimes to make things more suitable, at least for some riders, you have to take some things away. That was exactly Ride1Up's goal here. By removing the rear rack as well as the fenders, they claim that they shaved 12 pounds off the Vorsa Lite. On our scale, it weighs 61 pounds, that's with the battery. And because of that weight reduction, Ride1Up says it's more agile, though we'll wait to see how it feels in the first-person riding footage. But here's the best part, even though light is in the name, they didn't touch the motor power. Still a 750 watt motor with 95 newton meters of torque, engaged with a torque or a cadence sensor. For those unfamiliar with Ride1Up, they've been in business for over 8 years and they operate primarily as a direct-to-consumer brand. Their goal is to pack as much value as they can into their e-bikes, and that's reflected with the specs that you get for the price across the lineup, and hence the impressive price point of the Vorsa Lite at just $14.95. And real quick, if we've helped you with your e-bike purchase decision, do me one quick favor, check out the links down in the description. Using our link before you buy supports the channel for free, or simply scan the QR code on your screen now. Thank you so much for your support. The Vorsa Lite comes in 2 frame variations, an XR or high step, and what you see here, the step through. I always like to review the step-throughs because accessibility is important for a lot of people buying e-bikes today. And even as a 6-foot-tall rider, I can still get full leg extension. Though note that the seat post is in its highest position, and my wife is 5'5". Total weight capacity is 350 pounds. It comes in 3 different colors: glacier, slate, and snow. Let's dive into the rest of the specs. Up front, we have Star Union hydraulic disc brakes paired with a 180 millimeter rotor up front. And Ride1Up generally likes to throw in a few surprises. They threw in a couple on this bike, but you have a larger 203 millimeter rotor in the rear. Tires are 27.5 by 2.2 inches wide, mixed terrain tread. Really like the brown sidewall. They come from Arison. The front wheel attaches with a through axle. Up front, you get 100 millimeters of suspension. It comes from EX Show. This is what you can expect. Preload adjustment on the left, lockout on the right. There's 4 mounting points for Ride1Up's front basket. Cable management through the frame. The front headlight runs off the main battery. And in the rear, they've opted for a battery-operated light that mounts to the seat post. There's an adjustable stem, swept-back handlebars. That allows you to be in a more upright riding position if you prefer. There's locking, ergonomic rubber grips. Star Union brake levers with motor cutoffs. A left-hand thumb throttle. And on the right side, Shimano's 8-speed trigger shifter. Let's talk about the displays and controls all in one unit. There is a USB-C port located beneath the display. Power button on top. There's time, pedal assist level, off, eco, tour, sport, turbo, and finally boost. You can engage walk mode by holding pedal assist down, turn the lights on by holding pedal assist up. There's battery capacity, wattage going to the motor, speed, the current class you're in. The T tells me I'm currently using the torque sensor. There's motor bars. Get additional information by hitting the bottom button. Trip, total trip, average speed, and max speed. Hit it again and you get a breakdown of the pedal assist levels you've been using. To get into the advanced settings, hold the bottom button. You have units, time, backlight, auto sleep. You can set a password. Change the amp output for each pedal assist level. There's riding mode. This is where you can change it to class 3 if you'd like, or off-road. There's Ebike info. Advanced set. This is where you can swap between the torque and the cadence sensor. And finally, reset. And that's it for the left-hand mounted display. On the step-through frame, you have 2 sets of bottle cage bosses, perhaps for the best water bottle cage on the market, sold at shop.ebikeescape.com. It's fully adjustable and can fit large water bottles. Turnstile closure. Check out our store for this and other high-quality e-bike accessories. Your purchase supports the channel, so thanks. Battery is located beneath the frame. Keyhole on the left side. Turn to the right to unlock. Then there's a lever that will fully release the battery pack. It's paint matched, which is a nice touch. This is that lever that fully releases the battery. It's a 48-volt, 14.7 amp hour battery, and I believe this is new for Ride1Up. This battery pack is IPX6 rated. It's also certified to UL 2271. The entire bike's electronics are certified to UL 2849. You can get an idea of the charge level by hitting this button right here. There's a charge port here, or you can charge it when it's in the bike by lifting this rubber cover. To put the battery back in, terminals first, and simply snap into place. Jumping into the accessories, you get a manual, a 2 amp charger, so about 7 hours to charge it up from empty. There's a bell, maintenance grease. Ride1Up always nails it with the tools. I love using these. It's nice that they include them. A couple wrenches, and of course, Ride1Up's signature beanie. There's plastic pedals, a rear-mounted large kickstand, a Velo plush saddle, and yes, even though this doesn't come with a rear rack, you could add one. There's mounting points here, and you could add fenders as well. It's a Shimano Acera derailleur, a step up from what we typically see. 11 to 32 teeth in the rear, 48 teeth up front. Again, 8 speeds, a nice chainstay protector. With that, let's go for a ride and then see how powerful this motor really is. First, throttle only. Just a note, with pedal assist turned off, still full access to the throttle. Let's see how fast we can get to 20. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, throttle only to 20. 1380 watts, 1400 watts, and I already feel the motor backing off. 19 miles an hour. Display reading 19.6, GPS reading 19. And it is just holding us there using about 400 watts. We will start with class 2 mode with the cadence sensor, but don't worry, I will change it to class 3. And something unique about this bike, especially with the cadence sensor, I had to go and turn down the settings way down for the amp output, because even in eco, I was hitting close to 20 miles per hour. That doesn't make it very accessible, at least from the factory. So the settings now are 10, 30, 60, 80, and then 100. So that's what I'll be testing. All right, and in eco, I am getting much less power, thankfully. So only around 132 watts. And the way Ride1Up does this, it's just going to give me that consistent power. So I might trend up speed. I'm not going to lose that power at a set speed that Ride1Up has. And so in eco in 3rd gear, pretty nice and easy, 10 miles an hour, a very accessible speed as I'd want. Now remember, a cadence sensor, as long as I'm spinning my legs, I'm going to get power from the motor. Of course, how much power depends on the pedal assist level. All right, now in tour, that's going to be 30%, at least how I have it set. And remember, you can turn that down even more if you want. There's 15 miles an hour very easily. So even that I might turn down. All right, let's go into sport. And yeah, we're cutting off at 20 miles per hour now. So maybe a good time to go into class 3 mode. All right, here we go. From a stop, about a half turn for the cadence sensor to engage. And I will shift up now, getting around 800 watts. There's 20 miles an hour, 21, 24. Yikes. All right, I think this motor is plenty powerful. There's 27 miles an hour. I'm not even using the full power from this bike. So we still had turbo and boost to use. I put it in boost. Let's just see what the max wattage is. And yeah, 1300 watts, just shy of 1400 watts, effortless. But let's go into the torque sensor mode and see how this bike performs now. So for torque ratio, now I can go in here with the torque sensor and adjust these 15, 25, 40, 50, and I just changed boost to 100%. Let's see how that feels. All right, in eco, first gear with the torque sensor, shifted up to second. So pretty easy to cruise at 10, 11 miles an hour, just a nice leisurely speed. And just a note, with class 3 mode, you still get access to the throttle. Some companies will disable the throttle when you put it in class 3 mode, so just keep that in mind. Top speed will be at 28 miles per hour though, but throttle stops at 20. All right, so remember, a torque sensor is going to measure how much power I'm putting in. So while I could pretty easily cruise around 10 miles an hour, if I put in a little bit more power from my legs, I can see the motor bar going up here. Working pretty hard, 14 miles an hour. Let's go into tour. I'm in third gear. Now just getting around 50 watts, but holding me at 12 miles an hour. Let's shift up a little bit more power from my legs. All right, getting closer to 200 watts, able to cruise at 15 miles an hour. A moderate amount of power, but not overworking myself. Let's go into sport. I am really curious to see how boost is going to feel, see how easy it is to get to 28. Shift up to fifth gear. Now I'm able to easily cruise at 16 miles an hour in sport. All right, a little bit more power in sport. Let's see if we can hit 20, 18, getting around 300 watts. There's 20 according to the display, 19 on the GPS, 21. Shift up. Let's go into turbo. Now I'm able to comfortably cruise at 18 miles an hour, nice and easy, and yeah, much more responsive in the higher pedal assist levels, not surprising. There's 22, 23, moderate effort. All right, we are in boost mode, and remember, I have the settings absolutely cranked. All right, I am in seventh gear, not putting in much effort at all, cruising at 21, 23. All right, let's go into eighth gear and just a little bit more power. That's how easy it is to hit the max wattage of just shy of 1400 watts. 27, 28 according to the Ride1Up display. I just love that you can customize the pedal assist levels. It just makes a huge difference. Though the same can't be said for their throttle. I wish there was some adjustments there. I am very curious what the minimum speed is up our hill climb test. Let's go see. All right, here we go. This is our hill. The GoPro makes it look so much smaller than it is. So we'll see what the minimum speed is on throttle alone. And let's talk about comfort. Love the swept back handlebars, love the adjustable stem. There's 13 miles an hour. The seat being wider provides some comfort. I would imagine some people want a little bit more cushion. Still cruising at 13 miles an hour, 12. And I must say right now, granted there's some traffic, I don't hear the motor. It seems pretty darn quiet. And there we go, minimum speed 12 miles an hour, very impressive. This is an electric bike after all, so let's go back down and see how it does while pedaling. Though, let's do a brake test first with these Star Union brakes. All right, here we go, 25 miles an hour. All right, no problem stopping me. Star Union and Tektro seem to be the brands that most people are putting on their e-bikes, and I have had no problem with either of them for stopping power. And remember, you have that larger rotor in the rear, which is a nice bonus. We're going to leave it with the torque sensor. I think a lot of people are going to like this torque sensor because on the low end, you can have it not give you a lot of power. And then on the high end, you can still hit top speeds, though we'll see how it does on hills. All right, eco working really hard, only getting 100 watts in first gear. I would maybe make it to the top, but let's go in tour. All right, not a ton of relief there. 4 miles an hour. Let's go into a sport. Okay, this is a little bit better, but still putting in a considerable amount of effort, though I think I can make it up now. All right, turbo, 400 watts, and let's go into boost. Okay, so boost is where it's at. Still, I want to stay in first gear, though I'm getting more power from the motor. Now, this bike, you can't quick swap to the Cadence sensor. This might be a good example where that would be nice. but remember, you still have that throttle, so you can still pedal alongside it if you want to make sure you're getting full power from the motor. And we made it to the top. All right, and just so you guys can see it, this is also a steep hill, and I switched it to the Cadence sensor, and I have it in first gear, and I'm basically ghost pedaling, but getting full power from the motor. It's just with a torque sensor, it's a little harder on hills to put more power down and get the extra power from the motor. With that, let's get into some third-person riding footage. I'll give you my concluding thoughts on the Ride1Up Vorsa Lite. I am so happy to see Ride1Up expand the Vorsa lineup to better appease the many use cases that different riders have. Along with the Lite, they also released the Vorsa FT for fat tire, but we'll focus on the Lite here. While Lite is in the name, think of this more as an e-bike that is just lighter than its standard Vorsa counterpart. Yes, the lack of fenders and rear rack cuts down on weight, but I wouldn't quite define this as a lightweight e-bike. If lightweight is truly on your must-have list, check out Ride1Up's Roadster V3, which drops the weight to around 40 pounds compared to the Vorsa Lite's 61 pounds. With the Vorsa Lite though, you're getting a full-powered e-bike at a great price of $1,500. First off, the motor is truly impressive, crushing our hill climb test and outperforming many e-bikes that cost more. And despite that high power output, the motor remains surprisingly quiet. Having the ability to change between the torque and cadence sensor is becoming more common, but it's still rare on more affordable e-bikes, so I'm glad to see it here. The ride feel with the dual sensor setup felt great, plus the amp output and torque ratio allow you to dial in exactly how the motor responds. The battery size is about what we expect at this price point, and Ride1Up's estimate of 30 to 60 miles seems spot on. The Shimano Acera drivetrain is a nice step up, one of Ride1Up's surprises here, along with the larger 203mm rotor in the rear. Some bikes prioritize street tires, but for those who plan for some light off-roading, emphasizing light, the bike is definitely more capable than some of its competitors. It's also comfortable thanks to the swept-back handlebars and adjustable stem. Ride1Up is also taking a step towards some additional tech features, adding Apple Find My for the iPhone users out there, but yeah, still no dedicated app, at least not yet. It should be obvious, but it's worth reiterating that the Vorsa Lite lacks fenders and a rear rack. If you do value those, check out the standard Ride1Up Vorsa. We have a full review on that model as well. Because of the lack of these additional accessories, you just get a battery-operated light in the rear instead of one that runs off the main battery. One note about assembly: while Ride1Up has sometimes required the installation of the right chainring and crank, that is no longer the case. You do, however, need to install the front hydraulic disc brake caliper or have a trusted bike shop do it for you. After assembling hundreds of e-bikes at this point, it was pretty easy for me to get dialed in, but it is one extra step that's rare compared to other e-bikes shipped directly to your door. If we've helped you with your purchase decision, please consider doing me one quick favor and use the link in the description or scan the QR code on your screen before you buy. It truly helps us keep reviewing e-bikes, so thanks. The $1,500 price point is an important one, I think, and Ride1Up really nailed it here by offering a ton of value. It's pretty clear they're aiming to come in a few $100s under some of their competitors, persuading customers with sheer power. Part of that is accomplished by being a mainly direct-to-consumer brand, offering just a step-through and high-step frame with no varying sizes, cutting out accessories, and trimming down a few tech features. I know some of you out there might even prefer this, as it makes for a pretty simple, straightforward e-bike to use. So with that, let me know what you think of the Vorsa Lite. Are you tempted by the heavier Vorsa for just $100 more with those accessories? Let me know down in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.